Caverns magazine! Hey everyone, and welcome back to Super Mario Odyssey, and it's the moment we've all been waiting for. We've managed to make it to Moon Kingdom, which is the final kingdom in the main storyline. So here is where you will face the final Bowser showdown, and it is genuinely epic. So here we are in Moon Kingdom, and we're just going to pick up a moon or two along the way, but we're not going to spend too much time on that because we want to get straight in on the action. So we are just climbing up these blocks next to the Odyssey, so you just need to hit up one more, and because you're on the moon, there is a lower gravity field, so you can jump a hell of a lot higher, which we are loving. So you can just easily jump up to the top of there and make it seem like it's a doddle. So now we've picked up our first moon, we are gonna head down this main path and crack into the main part of our walkthrough. So you can see kind of the moon looks pretty epic, and you've got the church up in the distance where Bowser is about to pull off his nefarious plan in forcing the princess to marry him. It's pretty sinister if you ask me. But anyway, we're going to go and put a stop to that. Bowser, you will not do your ugly deeds today. We are definitely going to go there and stop the dude. So you just kind of work around, and you got these kind of wiggly spiny things to jump out of the way. But obviously, because you can jump about 1,000,000 miles, you can easily get out of the way of things and just stay out in the air to kind of get out of their way. So now getting over paths like this, again, pretty easy. You can make a long jump. And then once you get down here, just head on over to the right and you will find these ugly octopus dudes. Kind of just ignore them. They're kind of a lot like the octopus in Seaside Kingdom. But you don't really need to get into too many battles with them. Just kind of ignore them. They just slowly float around, fire their beak nose at you, and just kind of look kind of cool. They look way more menacing than they actually are. Just kind of carry on doing what you're doing, and you should be able to get out of the way pretty easily. And so just continuing down the main path, you can see some blocks out here, and again, we can use the crazy gravity on the moon to be able to jump over to these blocks pretty easily. So we're just going to do a massive super jump. Nice. And you can see there we kind of didn't make it across, but we managed to do a wall jump and jump back on. So you can see you've got a lot more capabilities to do crazy big jumps on the moon here in Super Mario Odyssey. Now obviously there are distances you just can't cover, but with these blocks here it's relatively easy. So you just need to set yourself and get ready for a huge jump. So again, just kind of give yourself enough space and you should be able to jump on over and get to the first of the warp flags, which is called Ringing Bells Plateau. So now we're getting really close to the main church, but we've got a few more battles to do. So you can see there across the way, we can try and do a crazy jump. So we're just going to get this super fast flower and we're going to try and do a crazy jump all the way across. So it just about gets you across, and you should be able to head over to get the chest and get the moon as a prize. Now next up, you've got the challenge of making it back. So there's just as much of a runway, but it's not so easy to see the flowers as you're really close. There's a couple of purple coins, 3 purple coins behind here to pick up also, so they're worth grabbing while you're here. But then you kind of want to face back down the route, get yourself right behind one of these flowers and do the hat shizzle to be able to do the jump. And you've got to get your timing just about right, because you can see there's only just enough room to be able to pull off that jump. So again, kind of carrying on along the main path, you could try and do a fast jump down there, or you can head down this little path over here to the right hand side. So we're just going to take this little path here, stay on course and do a little jump to make it over to this section. Now we're just going to head on into here just to grab a few of these purple coins as well while we're here, but then we're going to continue into the main route, which is over to the left hand side. We're loving the gravity mechanics on the moon, and it is another great addition to what is undoubtedly one of the greatest Super Mario games ever created. But unfortunately, we're just about to head inside. So we've made it to the quiet wall, and we need to head in here to kind of carry on the journey. So the only way up is to go through that little gap there, and that will take you to this vast underground area with huge amounts of lava and crazy magma either side. It's called the underground moon caverns, and you can use that pipe to get back up if you wanted to, but the gravity is back to being normal under here, which is kind of weird. It's not really the way gravity works, but you know what, this is Mario, and realistically you're kind of supposed to suspend a little bit of belief along some part of the route, with a plumber going up against a big dinosaur dude who's ran off with a girl. She's not even his girlfriend or wife, you know, it's just a girl he kind of like hangs out with. So, you know, you got to expect a few kind of crazy things every now and again, like these dry bone skeleton coopers, which you can take over with your magical hat, Cappy. So anyway, back to a lack of reality, let's skim on across this lava flow and pick up the coin rings as you go. There's a few more kind of dry bones up ahead for you to avoid, so we're just going to have a little skim around to see whether or not there's anything else for us to pick up or any other shortcuts or routes that we can take, but it doesn't look like that's the case. So we're just going to come around to the left and avoid as many of the baddies as we can while picking up the coins. So we come in over to this platform here, and you can see we've suddenly got tanks to take on. So we're kind of getting attacked by this skeleton Koopa, but we're going to blow him to smithereens any second now. Not that that will have a huge deal of impact on him. He's already dead. You can't kill somebody twice, so all we can do is keep kind of smashing him up and disorientating him. So now we can move on across this platform. So we're just going to take out that tank, get past this lava flow quickly, and potentially come back for a tank if we need to, which I kind of think we're going to need to be able to get that heart. So we're going to head on back to be able to get a tank to blast through and pick up that heart. So we've got a tank here, so just knock its hat off, grab the tank, and unfortunately we've only got one heart left. So really we massively need this heart. So there we go, we can blast through that with the cannon fire, and we've managed to pick up the heart. So that is great, and that gives us 6 hearts, which we are going to need, because this whole section is one of the toughest in the entire game. So you can see we're here, and we're going to need another skeleton Koopa to be able to get across here, but this tank keeps on taking him out. So you've kind of got to lure the tank out of the way and stop it from blitzing up the Koopa. So there you go, he's taken out another one, and it's kind of a little bit frustrating. However, you can turn around and just take over one of these, losing a heart along the way, which is a bit frustrating, but we will make it over to the other side. And over here we will be able to get into this electricity wire and get up to the top. So suddenly we've got a whole new platform to make it through, and we've managed to pick up a heart for our efforts. So we can just kind of hit this button switch here, which is going to get that block moving on the right hand side. Now we've got some hammer brothers to deal with, so just kind of move out of the way of their hammers and you should be able to take them out relatively easily. And again, just kind of stay out of the way of its hammer throws. Use Cappy to kind of take him out, and then you want to take over one because you need to take out these blocks. So if you don't manage to take over one of the hammer brothers, you probably won't be able to make it through this section. So make sure you grab one along the way. Now they've got a kind of a weird bounce about them, so be careful of that, and be careful you don't just jump over the edge. And once you're over here, you'll be able to get out of the hammer brothers and do a ground pound on this second switch to be able to make it onto this block if you move quickly enough, which we literally only just did. So once you're over here, you need to be able to take over one of these kind of extendable stretch wigglies, and the reason for that is because of this huge barrier in the way. And you kind of want to get over to this area here, and you're going to need to stay in the dude to be able to get around to the other side. Now you can also get over here and get some purple coins, so just kind of skim on over and curl yourself back in, and yeah, take a bit of a heart pound in there, but it's worth it because you've made it through to this next section. And here things get a little bit tasty. As you kind of head closer to this wall, you will find a giant bullet bill firing at you. So hit it with the hat to be able to take its own hat off, and then just fire on along in this direction, avoiding the other bullet bills as you go. So now carrying on through the coins, and that will bring it over to this side. And when you're over this side, it's a case of heading up this path and taking on this guy here. So just ground pound the switch, and then you want to take over the Moai. And once you're here, you can see there is a route for you to travel. So it's a case of using the shades to find the route and making it to the other side. Now we kind of didn't take time to get the purple coins because we figured we'd just end up losing too many lives and it'd take too long to do. So we will come back and pick those up when we do kind of an all purple coins video at a later date. But for now, it's a case of heading up this electricity wire and taking on this guy. So to take over one of the charging chucks, it's just a case of hitting it with the hat and taking over it with Cappy. So then you can charge these blocks out of the way, grab yourself a heart, which looks like I am much needing. So just kind of spin around, get all the blocks, get yourself out of chuck, pick up the heart, and then we've got some balls to make it through. So we're just going to try and aim chuck at them and do a full charge through the entire stream of them. So you just kind of get yourself set, get yourself a full charge with Y, and then you kind of don't want to do too much in terms of the directional buttons to make it across, and that will bring you over to this ledge here. And you've got some more balls coming across. Now there's no way you can head to the right, so you're going to have to go to the left. So wait for the balls to come out of the way and then just kind of jog on down. And when you've made it across, you've got another charging chuck to take over, and you can use him to head back in this direction to pick up those purple coins, which are relatively easy, so we're just going to grab them while we are here. So that's 3 more purple coins and we're back into charging chuck. So then we can face back this way, and you can see there is a long stream to go through. Now don't move your directional trigger because there is no way left or right. You just got to keep going forward, and you want to plow through all of those and get out and make it to this point here. And this is going to take you up to the first boss on the moon, and it is Madam Brood. So she is a little bit more powerful this time, and you can see there are 3 hats on her chomp to be able to get out of the way. So once you've done that, you can then lead the chomp off into the opposite direction to get in your first hit, and then she fires the chomp back. And again, because it's suddenly got 3 hats, it's just so much more difficult to deal with. So just try and keep your distance, stay out of the way, move out of the way of its directional triggers, and then you should be able to take out all of its hats. Now you're probably going to get a few kind of heart losses along the way, but you should be able to make it through relatively comfortable if you take your time and make sure you don't get hit too often. So that's the second one of our hits, and she is one heck of an ugly boss. So we're just going to try and take her out, but suddenly we've got 5 hats to deal with on her mecha chomp. So we're going to try and take as many of those off, and we managed to get a couple and get out of the way there. So we've got 1 more, 2 more, and then we've got control of the little chomper. And then it's just a case of leading it off in the opposite direction and getting the last hit in her big ugly face. And it's worth bearing in mind that if you do manage to die during that phase, during that boss battle, you will go back quite a way. So it's really important to try and make it through, otherwise it gets a little bit time consuming. So once you've made it through Madam Brood and she's taken her second beatdown, you can head in through here and we will start the next phase of this level, which brings you back onto the surface of the moon, and we can get back to doing some crazy mad jumps. So just back out onto the surface, you just got to kind of spin around, and there's a huge coin pile for you to pick up along the way. So that is adding in kind of a big chunk of coins there. So once you've got those coins, you can see where we need to get to in the distance. So we're just going to pick up this this save point ever after hill, and we're going to head up the red carpet because we have got a wedding to crash. So we are heading up this red carpet and heading towards that light shining up into the air. So Cappy is telling us, quick, yeah, all right, dude. Unfortunately, there isn't a dash function. We're going as fast as we can, so we're just heading up and into the chapel with a little hop, skip and a jump, because we know there is a big boss battle coming up relatively soon. So we're just going to head into the wedding hall, and once you get to the end, it's just a case of taking Cappy out and flipping it at the door to be able to open it up. and make it through, and that will see you facing Bowser for the final time. And firstly, as soon as you arrive, his hat will be flying at you, so you want to use Cappy to be able to flip it over and then take over it. And then it's just a case of avoiding the boulders and getting in your hit. Now if you remember the last battle with Bowser, you'll know that he does this tail swipe at you right at the end. However, you should be aware that there are multiple tail swipes later on, and once you've got through the first phase, it does this huge flame at you, so you need to jump it first time, double jump this second time, so that's 1, 2, and then when it comes back, just kind of repeat that process. So he can sometimes whip that out every now and again, so just be ready for it. And here we've got multiple hats, and it's just a case of aiming for the right one, taking over it and jumping over its crazy kind of flame rings once again. So he kind of does a slightly different route this time, and there are giant flaming metal balls of doom coming at you, and you just want to avoid everything, get in your hits on Bowser and smash him up. Now avoid 2 tail swipes this time, and then you can just smash him up against the iron railings over there, and that is 2 of the main hits, and that will see him return to the middle and get back to its flame breathing efforts. So there we go, we've lost a little heart there, so that's a bit of a shame, but you've just got to time your bounces a little bit better. So there we go, we managed to get in the double jump there, but you can see it did 2 swipes this time, so it's pretty tricky to make it through that, and there are a whole lot of hats to avoid. So this is kind of important to just try and stay out of their way, and they can be tricky, but try and give yourself enough room to be able to do that. And once you've got the boxing glove hat once again, you can go back to jumping over these flaming hoops and avoiding the boulders. So kind of weave left and right to be able to get out of their way and get in your hits on Bowser. Dude, you are going down. However, that's one, and he managed to get in his hit, and we didn't finish him off that time, so we've got to go through the entire thing again. So it's kind of the boulders to get out of the way of, and we're just kind of weaving left and right to try and get through this whole mess. So just keep advancing on Bowser, and we've only got 1 heart left, so it's all or nothing now. So we've managed to get close enough, and there is the hit itself, and then he should go into tail swipe 1, 2, 3, yes, and now we can finish him off. Dude, you are finally finished. No, 1 more swipe. Okay, now surely this has got to be it. And that's it. We've managed to finish off Bowser, and we can do a little bit of a runner. But we all fell through the ground, and suddenly we are here. And you can see Princess Peach is here, and a very dazed Bowser is here. And we've got to take over Bowser with Cappy and use his crazy claw attack to make it through all this mess. So it's worth knowing that, as with the Madam Brood battle, if you die at any time during this phase, you will go all the way back to the beginning, so it can be time consuming. So it's really important to get things right first time, or certainly as close enough to your first time as you can. So it's just a case of avoiding all the craziness, using the claw attacks, weaving your way around to the right and then to the left, and then you've got to dodge these blocks that fall from the sky. So they cast a little bit of a glowing shadow, which should free you up to be able to move out of their way and claw your way through this section. Now up ahead there's a bit of a 2D section that's relatively easy to get through, so just jump up and fire through that, and you've got some more claw smashing to do. So just kind of smash your way through all of this and try to make it through with as many hearts as you can. So you can see we've still got 6 hearts, so we're still a long way away from Doom, which is pretty good. Now for us, this is probably one of the most exciting levels in the game. It's really frenetic, it's really fast paced, and it feels like it is never going to come to an end. However, you should rest assured that you will make it to the end, not too far away from here. And to start with, you need to head to each one of these columns and destroy them with your claws, and that will send the main column firing into the moon rock in the middle to take one of the hits. Now there's 4 columns in total, so that leaves 3 to go, and each one has a slightly larger amount of crust protecting it, but that is 2 taken out of the equation. Now you want to make sure you don't get hit as much as possible, so stay out of the way of any falling blocks. So there you can see there was a shadow above me and it managed to get me. So anytime you see a shadow above you, if you can get out of the way, make sure you do get out of the way, guys. So now it's back onto the main route, and you can see there's a lot of the area falling apart. But as soon as you get a break on this third block, then you should be able to smash it into the moon block in the middle. Now we've just got one final hit to do, and it is a direct strike on the actual block itself. So once you get into the middle, you've got one last column to be able to take out of the equation, and then you can hit the rock itself with Bowser's claws to crunch it down to rubble. So just keep on attacking it as these lights fly out of it, and it will blow up into nothing. And then you can simply jump on up and use Cappy to be able to get into the electricity wire. So there we go, Bowser, you and the princess are all in the electricity wire, and then it's just the case of keeping pointing upwards, and then eventually you will fire out and away from the moon and to safety, and that will be the end of the game, guys. So that is the end of the main storyline. Now obviously there's loads and loads of content still to do in the game. There's hell of a lot of moons, there's purple coins to pick up, so we will be heading back through all of the kingdoms to pick those up next. So obviously you couldn't actually pick up all the moons until you complete the game, and now that we've completed the game, we can head back and do walkthrough videos to show you how to guess each and every moon in every kingdom. So that is what we're going to be doing next. Now we've got loads of little add-ons and additions that have come through there, but once you complete the game, you will find yourself in Mushroom Kingdom, which we visited a little bit earlier in our walkthrough guides, where we managed to find the warp to Yoshi's house. So here is where we will pick things up next. Thank you very much for tuning in to our walkthrough video. Super Mario Odyssey has been genuinely epic. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for more of our videos, and hit that like button, guys. If you've got any comments, leave them below. Cheers, goodbye. Magazine!